Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala. Al-Imam al-Bukhari and Muslim collected a hadith on the authority of Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He reported an incident. He says, we were during Friday khutbah. Prophet ﷺ is in the minbar and he's giving the khutbah. And then a Bedouin came into the masjid, a Muslim Bedouin came in, and he says, Ya Rasulullah. He addressed the Prophet ﷺ while he's doing the khutbah, and he says, Ya Rasulullah, the drought in our area had damaged all of our goods, killed all of our animals, and we are really hurting from drought. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send down rain to help us. Anas bin Malik said, on the spot, the Prophet ﷺ raised his hand and he made a lengthy dua, and he says, by Allah, there was no sign of any clouds or sign of any rain at all. But he says the Prophet ﷺ did not come down off the minbar until his beard was dropping with water. And this is a reference, of course, to the masjid of the Prophet ﷺ and at the time of the Sahaba was very, very simple. The roof was made of nothing but trunks of palm trees, and they would put leaves on top. So obviously, when it rains, it would make the floor, that is, of course, the carpet on the floor is just sand. So he said that Anas, the Prophet ﷺ, did not make it down from the minbar until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent that rain down. He says the following Friday, the very same person came, same situation, right when the Prophet ﷺ was doing the khutbah, and he says, Ya Rasulullah. He interrupted him again during the khutbah, and he says, Ya Rasulullah, the rain had damaged and killed most of our animals, and it is hurting everything. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to stop it and to cease it for now. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam again on the spot and said, Allahumma hawalayna la alayna. He says, oh Allah, make that rain fall around us, not directly on us. Oh Allah, make it go to the rivers and go to the areas where trees are in dire need for it. And he said, before the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam went down, the rain had ceased again. Meaning what? The adab, the etiquette that we should have. Now, here in Florida, we are on the East Coast, and everybody is in the hype about the hurricane right now that is developing in Gulf. Everybody's so scared about the hurricane. But one of the things that we should understand, whether that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has junud, He has soldiers and armies of soldiers. And لَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُ. Only Allah knows what His soldiers are. The wind, the rain, all of these storms, those are soldiers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when storms used to hit, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to make a dua. And he used to say, and he addresses the storm like you and I should look at the storm as one of the soldiers of Allah. You're not worried about the storm? Address the one who created the storm and created you. The storm is doing a job that is designated and commended by Allah for that storm, and it is doing exactly that. And then when you find the whole hype, and we are falling in the same hype about that storm. This is in no way to say you should not heed the warning and you should not really do the proper precautions to protect yourself. This is granted. Anybody who thinks that way needs to have some sense. But we're missing the main point. And these are signs and reminders from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us to reflect upon what is most important. And that is your connection and my connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these are nothing but reminders. And when storms come of this sort, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like the Prophet ﷺ used to do. And he used to say, Allahumma inni as'aluk, when he would see a storm coming, sandstorm in the desert, This is part of the nature of where the Prophet ﷺ lived, in that environment. The environment here in Florida are hurricanes. The environment maybe in snowy areas are snowstorms. In some areas are earthquakes. But you have all of these phenomena, but those are nothing but soldiers of Allah. When those things are coming, what are you supposed to do? Ask Allah Ta'ala to grant you the goodness that coming out of those things. Like the Prophet ﷺ used to say, he says, Allahumma inni as'aluka khayraha, when he would see a storm of wind, sandstorm. Oh Allah, I ask you the good of this storm. Because nothing has always evil or always have good in it. There is always good and bad in everything. But he said, oh Allah, grant me and give us that which is good of coming out of this one. And what is sent with, because Allah Ta'ala sent it with a mission. These are soldiers of Allah, and they are out with a mission. And he says, and I seek refuge in you from the harm of this storm and the harm that comes with it. This is the dua, the same thing. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the goodness of this storm and the goodness that comes with it. And we seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the harm of the storm and the harm that comes with it. And we say what the Prophet ﷺ say, Allahumma hawalayna la alayna. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask you to allow that storm and with anything harmful to stay away from us and not directly hit us wherever we are. Because taking precautions is necessary. Al-akhd bil-asbab. You can't say twirl your thumbs and you wait for things to really avoid you. No, do the precaution. But the main thing is to always be connected with Allah. And I want to close with this. Usually humans are appealed to through two channels. Either things that they would hold dear or things that they would fear the most. See, if you want people to act, strike them from these two areas. If it is a fear factor, tell them that this is scary, and this is what we see unfortunately on the media. This is no way to say that the media is not giving you the information that you should go by, but exaggeration in the fear, it allows people to panic sometimes. And it doesn't really give them the right perspective. Yes, take the proper precautions, but at the same time the fear should be of Allah. Fear Allah Ta'ala, not the storm. Storm is nothing but a soldier of Allah Ta'ala, is sent by Allah. Two things, the second thing is people are always appealed to when it comes to things that they would hold dear. You can also appeal to them through the things that they hold through their faith as dear. This is why you will find most of the celebrations that people celebrate, they are in a way religiously related, or things that have some emotional attachment to it. Most of the holidays, they're either religious holidays or emotional holidays. And these, they have different reasons why. It could be for business reasons, to where people are going to have to purchase many of the merchandise, and that's be a business opportunity for those who promote it. And it could be for so many other reasons. But my point is, people are always, if you usually direct your message towards these two areas, people are always relating and they react to these kind of things. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep all of us and all of those who are on the path of this storm, to keep them safe. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us connected to Him and reminded through the storms that these are messengers from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remind us about what is the most important, and that is to be always mindful of Allah all time. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those who, when they hear the speech, they follow the best of it. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyina Muhammad walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.